it has actually affected the world.
Yeah,
so
hey, it's
if
over.
you come up with if you come up with like, ooh, yeah, I know Mercury was in retrograde, but now it's Friday the 13th. So the last thing I want to do is jeopardize our love. Do you think I want our love to walk under a ladder in front of a black cat? No, I don't. So we'll do something nice at some other juncture.
Yeah, we'll go have
played.
We'll go have a burger somewhere. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Here's some dead cow. Does she like burgers?
Oh, she's a cheeseburger fanatic. And the cheeseburger was invented where we live. The city that we live in Pasadena, the cheeseburger was invented there. So we got to taste the oldest cheeseburger, which was pretty tasty. And they have like a cheeseburger week there. That's kind of Valentine's Day for her.
So I can't. A cheeseburger is something that I can't believe someone takes credit for inventing. Like
it's on the internet.
Obvious.
It's like being the first dude who put cheese on a hamburger was this guy in 1905 or something.
Really? Yeah. It took till 1905 for someone to go like, beef, good. Cheese, good. Put them together. Hey, that's good. I'm going to copyright that. Wasn't the first McDonald's like somewhere near where you live as well? Like some part of...
Yeah, in the South Bay. I think it's nearby like Long Beach. Like in that area, yeah, it's the arches where it looks all 50s, and there's still a few of those lingering, like the ones that haven't been remodeled.
Have you seen, like, so McDonald's business model used to be about turn and burn. Get people in, feed them, get them the hell out. If they take it to go, so much the better, because that way they have more space. And now they've changed up their business model, so you notice that they're trying to make them that much more accommodating. Like, they want you to hang out. So there's, like, Wi-Fi, and they're serving coffee, and what they want is McDonald's to become a place where people go sit down and eat and enjoy themselves. And it's never going to happen, because even in the remodels, what they do is their tables are still that sort of, like, plastic thing, which no matter how many times you get some minimum wage employee to wipe them with disinfectant cloths or whatever the hell, they still feel greasy when you sit down at a McDonald's. Every surface in a McDonald's feels like it's got a thin, sometimes thick layer of grease on it, and for that reason, it'll never be a place where anyone ever wants to hang out at all, ever. It's just never going to happen. But I admire the foolhardy notion that they could turn it into the Starbucks of the new millennium. No, not so much.
Well, they just fired their CEO. There was a dude that was running the thing for a long time. They just let go. So
yeah, probably for that decision that we just talked about. Like, we're going to remodel of them. We're going to do really, really expensive remodels to make them more into places where people like to hang out. I know that whole thing, made us like the single biggest. McDonald's will tell you they're not necessarily in the hamburger business. They sell hamburgers, but you know what McDonald's is? Besides the biggest hamburger chain in the world, McDonald's is the single biggest owner of real estate in the world, because 9 out of the 10 McDonald's franchises, or I don't even know if they're franchise, they not only own the business, they own the dirt underneath it. They don't pay rent on any of it. They own the real estate. And McDonald's is one of the biggest owners of real estate in the world, if not the biggest real estate owner in the world. And everyone will be like, they're in the burger business. They're like, no, we're not. We're in the real estate business. It's got to be weird. It has to be weird being a chef at McDonald's, because in a way, it's kind of crazy, awesome responsibility. Because say you are a McDonald's chef and you decide, I'm going to put half a cherry tomato on top of each salad that we serve. One half of one cherry tomato is going to go on every McDonald's salad. That one half of one cherry tomato, in agricultural terms, can change the financial destiny of entire countries that produce tomatoes. It's crazy. It's just like when you're at a company that's big. That is that big. Let's forget the whole crony capitalism thing that gets laid at the feet of McDonald's on a regular basis, because that'll just take us down a 2-hour tangent of me ranting and raving. That's not really what today's show is about. But let's talk for a second about being in charge of a business that big. Where you get your supplies from when you are at a McDonald's type level, it's kind of a crazy, awesome responsibility, because literally it can change the financial fortunes of entire countries, companies, every single family that has someone that works at that company. You decide whether or not they sink or swim just with that half of a cherry tomato on top of the salad. It's crazy to think about. Hey, what was that last piece of news? The bar in Austin. Do you have that in front of you? What's the deal with that?
I should have it in front of me, but I threw away the news because it was almost... Oh, here it is. A bar in Austin, Texas is selling a margarita that comes with diamond earrings for $30,000 on Valentine's Day.
30,000. Oh, okay. Are the earrings attached to Kate Upton? Because that would...
Or that girl that's eating the new Carl's... Have you seen that? I like my hamburger nude and bouncing.
No, I'm not buying into her. Don't get it. Don't like it. Like, I mean, she's got big cans and everything, but her face, you know what she looks like to me?
She has
looks
a
like
face?
A Hooters.
I couldn't...
Yeah, no. Remarkably enough, she does. After the third or fourth time and sawdust is being fired off, you look at other things. And it turns out she has a face, and she just looks like every Hooters girl I've ever seen. Just a little cheap.
They
and
don't
sad.
have faces either, do they?
Well, I tend to like. I've only ever been to a Hooters once or twice. Hooters to me is like. Well, no, Maxim Magazine's actually kind of funny.
Hey, we're 50 and we hate our wives. Let's go to Hooters.
Like, the food at Hooters, like, I've eaten in there twice. It is not good. It's really not that good. So, I mean, I went for the wings because someone was like, oh, I love the Hooters wings. And I was eating. I was like, these are terrible. He's like, well, yeah, we're not actually here for the wings. I was like, we're here to look at these chicks that have been squeezed into those weird tan-colored compression tights with the sadness in their eyes. It's not hot. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Woke up about 10 with puppies in my face, saying Dad gotta join the human race. Time for a yawn and a stretch and a walk, you see. They know my aura at the restaurant across the street. That's why when I shuffle in, my coffee's already waiting for me. Breeze on the patio, outdoor table, sitting with my puppies, Homer and Mabel, wondering how the rest of the day will be. Just then a kid stops by and Homer jumps up to say hi. Laughing kids and happy dogs, and yeah, that's kinda all you need. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Today is a lot like Ice Cubes, but definitely much less gangster. With a start like this on a day like this, it's good to be this white boy prankster. I don't push your bands, love my VW, drive an old drop top, it's what I love to do, and it gets me to work on time to say hello to you. On your radio, mad money, no, but I love what I do on the radio. Hear me yell the whole night through. I'm feeling so lucky that I can be the voice that you hear in this great big city. I rock on your radio, then head home. My puppy's gonna meet me at the door. So excited for a moonlight walk, and think they've never done this before, and it's all good. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. Sunshine coming my way. Nothing's gonna change how I feel today. Nothing's gonna get in the way of my perfect day. It's all what you make of it. It's all.
Delivering fascinating subjects, interesting talk, and boobs and fart jokes. AD on iHeartRadio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah. You've been talking about.
So, you got to admit, it seems unlikely, but the news that Jon Stewart is leaving The Daily Show surfaced at about the exact same time as the news that NBC is suspending Brian Williams for 6 months. Probably a total coincidence, but what if it wasn't? The New York Daily News says the timing is hard to ignore. NBC suspended Brian through August, and Jon's Comedy Central contract is up in September. Here's the thing. They're not the only ones to say it. Last Friday, Rush Limbaugh suggested something similar. It was, naturally part of some liberal media conspiracy. But that said, John did admit that NBC talked to him about hosting Meet the Press last year when David Gregory was getting the boot. And it's worth noting that NBC takes its nightly news very seriously. John doesn't take anything seriously. And if this is the plan, then why suspend Brian for 6 months if he's not coming back when that time is up? In any event, it's interesting. Back in 2009, do you remember this? Brian Williams was a runner-up in Time Magazine's online poll of America's most trusted newscasters. He had 29% of the vote, and coming in first with 44%, that would have been Jon Stewart. See, Jon Stewart, same as us around here, although we just do it for significantly less money. Jon Stewart has the interesting weapon in his arsenal that is satire. And satire, I've come to realize ever since I started getting involved in news and talk radio and things like that, satire is vitally important because it allows you to get closer to the truth. See, the truth, when it's doled out by more serious news institutions, the truth offends people. So I think that's why you're going to find more traditional news outlets pretty stingy with the truth. And if they have an opportunity to present the truth, it's, well, maybe this, maybe that. There's some hearsay. There's some pandering to either side of the political fence to minimize impact afterwards. But when you operate from a position of satire, it gives you free rein. It does give you that weapon in your arsenal of being able to be like, oh, we're a satirical show. What are you getting so bent out of shape about? People laugh at our stuff. But satire allows you to get closer to the truth than anything else. And that is why I think it is no coincidence whatsoever that Jon Stewart was the most trusted newscaster in all of America, according to this poll in Time Magazine back in 2009. And that is why it's kind of vitally important. It's kind of vitally important that The Daily Show continues with or without him, and that whoever it is that winds up taking his place has the same fierce dedication to the truth. Because, weirdly enough, goofy shows like The Daily Show are one of the few places that you're likely to get it. Whether the show leans left like The Daily Show or whether there's a show that leans right, I don't know. I do know this, though. When you exercise your right given to you by God and Larry Flint to be satirical, it brings you that much closer to what's actually happening. And that's what this show is about here. And we thank you for joining that.
Brian Williams has been suspended, and a new poll just came out. It shows Brian Williams has fallen from number 23 to number 835 on the most trustworthy celebrity list. It's a huge fall, yeah. This puts him right between Kanye West and Voldemort. NBC has suspended Brian Williams for 6 months without pay. No pay, yeah. Williams said he's not worried because soon his veterans' benefits will kick in.
So, fair point that needs to be asked from Pat Buchanan. Why is defeating 30,000 ISIS jihadists our job and not their job? And by their job, I mean the job of the Turks, the Saudis, Jordanians, folks like that. No two ways about it. Old Pat Buchanan can be a little kooky at times, kind of out there. But he wrote a really interesting piece, or what I thought was a really interesting piece, in cnsnews.com about ISIS. And in it, he posed the very reasonable question: if the Turks and Sunni Arabs are unwilling to put boots on the ground in Syria, why should we? Yeah, why should we? Why should America, here we are, half a world away, why should we have to provide those troops rather than the nations that are more immediately threatened? Why should we have to provide those troops rather than the nations that have armies, right there, like kind of across the street? Why is defeating 30,000 ISIS jihadists our job and not theirs? And he made a great point. Looking back at history, he pointed out that, well, history teaches that wars are fatal a lot of the time to monarchies. in 1914. The Great War of 1914.